Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. Remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Pro Cycling Manager 2019, Career Mode Episode 12. We head into Stage 2 of the Grand Prix of Sochi, 14K, that's half time trial, half prologue at that distance. Evenepoel is a favorite, so is Sepkus. Okay, nice. I was not prepared for that. Miguel Bryan in a good position, 4th place. Cantor, 5th place, entering. We'll see what we can do. Sepkus currently in 10th. Of course, time bonuses are only going to be at those top few riders after that first stage. Otherwise, group all bunched up. I think we'll go ahead and stay live for this one so we can get through the gauntlet of the teams, and as short as it is, it should go relatively quickly, at least theoretically anyway. First couple riders. Oh gosh, Evenepoel's going to be the first rider out. And Cassart, because it goes reverse grid order, and Evenepoel is currently last. That's actually really unfortunate. If he's a favorite, you want him going at the end after I've had a chance, at least a couple riders to go. And that way I could, kind of feel out what is the right amount of effort. So we've got a slight downhill to start. See small undulations as we go throughout. Big question is whether any of that is above or below 3 degrees. The end, you can see there's a little bit downhill there. It's hard to say if at any point we would go under 3 degrees or above 3 degrees, rise or fall, which would then pull you off of that 50-50-ish split of prologue time trial and put you into either the mountain rating or into the downhill rating, which that would play more towards Evenepoel or Kuss if that were the case. But it looks like we're pretty much flat, so I would expect that we'll stay almost entirely within the confines of prologue and time trial here. The split for that, by the way, it's between 5K and 30K. So 17.5 kilometers would be a 50-50 split between those. And this was, 15K? Yeah, 14.5. So we're basically looking at about 60-40 prologue, give or take. And that's good for Evenepoel, as he's got a 75 today and a 72. So we're looking at about 73.5, 74 kind of being his rating. And that's pretty good. I think standard is about 76 effort level. He should be just about able to maintain that and get there. Just one time check along the way. Total time right now, 18.5 minutes is the target to beat, 10.5 to the time check. Krigbaum ends up 1 second off the pace. And Warren Skjold is on the same time. So these guys essentially right there, identical within 1 second of each other. You can see Evenepoel actually a little bit deficit-wise with a 76, so we'll back off a little bit. And again, that's what I'm talking about with that makes me nervous because I can't keep a steady pace. It looks like there is a little uphill here that we're going to be hitting in just a moment. He's coming up pretty quick on the rider in front of him, Nolset. Okay, that's a pretty short uphill section there. Flattens out, we come back. I didn't look to see if that was going to be Evenepoel fastest at the first check by 6 seconds. And he's just about level now. I think we can step that back to a 75. Hope that that'll hold. Kazar, that's who I would have liked to have gone first. He's a 62 either way, Cassart. Ooh, down to second. Somebody just went faster. Alright. Gonna pull. Push into the end here. Push into the end. 99. Bring it home. Okay, he's quickest at the finish by a full 25 seconds. Almost a half minute clear. Thiago Machado, 5 seconds ahead though so far. Cassart still deficit. Even on a 74 the whole way. Minute 6 down. That's how much slower he is. Pace-wise. Machado still hasn't reached the finish, so don't know how. 16 seconds ahead of Evenepoel, so Evenepoel not going to be fastest. Machado, 16 seconds is a lot. Okay, here comes Vasek and Mater. Cassart push. He's almost there. 74 does seem to just about do it anyway. So 74 is standard. Mater should be a little bit better, but Vasek's not good either. Cassart pushed into the finish line now. 44th, minute 51. Well off the pace. The rest of my guys are coming up soon. Machado, the only one who's even gotten anywhere near the time of Evenepoel, and Machado's certainly going to be a competitive rider in the stages to come. Well-known name in the world of cycling. ×2 speed here, but it's time for Sepkus. Oh, of course. Negative race day condition, prologue hurting a bit. That's a 64 and a 67, probably averaging out to about a 65. And yet he should be above that, but that's what happens. Poor race day condition, -2. Vasek coming up on the line, 1K to go here. Push to the end. 48th, minute 50. Mater, his push to the end. Bit better, 28th, minute 17. Sepkus. Bit of a deficit, but not much. Cantor has gotten started. He'll be a 65 no matter what. And Brian, also quite slow. And Kuss is somehow on the favorites list, so maybe Machado's going to hold on, win, and maybe Evenepoel stays clear in second with a huge gap. That at least puts us into a podium position, and then we'll go from there in the final 2 stages. Kuss still not back. There you go. Come on, recover. Just coming up on level. Lost 4K. Goose pushing, final K. Could be a good time, but he was only 30th at 39 seconds down. 29th, minute 16. Only 1 second better than Mater. Not a very good time by Sepkus there, so we're definitely going to be riding for Evenepoel for the overall now. Go ×2 speed here for the last 2 riders for our team. And nobody has cracked that 40-second mark outside of the 2 riders that are up there. Cantor 36th, minute 22. Brian, I think I pushed a little early there. Thought he was closer to the end. 80th, 2:11. Last couple riders set to come in. There you go, Crater. Minute 23 off pace. So yeah, Machado the only one who got anywhere near Evenepoel. Those two well ahead of the rest of the field. So we've got a two-man race heading into the final two stages. Sadly, we're on the back end of that two-man race, but considering you've got 13, 14 teams at this race, and only two are left in contention, I'm happy to be one of those two teams, even if we are on the back end of that competition. 17 seconds isn't the worst gap to cover, and even if we can't cover it, second place would be a good overall race finish. It's not to say that this race is finished by any means. 2 stages to go, and we've certainly got a real chance. So the overall, Machado 17 seconds clear of Evenepoel, and then you get down to those guys 43 on back, already a minute, but you get to 16th, and then there's the rest of my team kind of filling in from there. One rider has withdrawn so far. Evenepoel at least does have the under 25s, and he's got that by a half minute, and we are 4th as a team after that. So, quick look, what are we facing for stages 3 and 4? Stage 3 is a hills stage, and that could certainly favor Evenepoel. Machado's the one we'll want to keep our eye on, of course. Stage 4, that's not going to shake anything up. Oof. Istrian Spring, we got 15,000 for that. That's a nice payday. Cleared. There we go. Alright, so we're going to move on to stage 3. You saw that series of climbs were all on the later end of the stage, meaning it's going to really shake things up. We should have a small group finish with those 4 climbs, plus a little bit of a climb to the finish itself. We definitely ride for Evenepoel, as he is the leader on that 74 mountains as well. Sepp Kuss will be the main guy protecting him. We'll protect both riders initially, and then when the time comes, Kuss will ride for Evenepoel. I like seeing that. Both of them end up being the favorites. Mader is up there as well, and there is Machado. So Machado, a 71 overall, 33-year-old puncher. He's more of a punchy guy than a mountain guy, meaning he's going to want to up the pace and attack. So we're going to probably want to see him dropped prior to that. We're going to try to use up his energy. He's only a 65 in resistance, while Evenepoel and Kuss can last a bit longer at a better pace. So over those climbs, we are going to want to... Excuse me. We're going to want to maintain a steady, relentless pace that is going to drop Machado. Once that's done, then we can settle down and take whatever group there's left home. Not worried too much about a stage victory here. We're going to look for the overall, meaning knock out Machado. But the biggest thing working for us is the resistance. He's decent mountains and hills. And not very good on the flat either. But with everything happening at 110 Ks and later, or slightly before 110, about 100 Ks and later, that's where we'll join in on this one. Now in the second of the 2 decisive stages, stage 3 overall here in Sochi. 4 climbs all coming up, plus that little finishing climb. And that's black, by the way. you can see the intensity of these climbs, though they're not terribly long, is enough that it's really, really going to damage the field. So breakaway has 1 minute. It's 9 riders, and we are now in position. And real quickly here, I better get Vashek on the task of getting water before we head up this climb. And then he's actually, once he returns, he's going to be the first one to start putting a herding into the field. Right now, the other 3 support riders are all protecting the likes of Koos, Evenipol, and Mater, our strongest climbers. We'll use them up over the first climb, and then we'll start relying on the other guys after that. So we want to put a herding in the field and hopefully leave some of the weaker riders behind, some of the support riders. We want to isolate Machado away from his team, and actually take a moment here as Vashek is nearly done with his task. And let's see, where is... There they are. Okay, so Figueiredo is going to be a good support rider. Of course, you got Machado himself. Marquis is going to be okay. Mendez is... Those guys aren't going to go away quickly. They are not going to go away quickly. I see somebody actually putting a herding in, so I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and get down to it, because this could be a telling time. The task of water is done, and there's already some herding going in. You see pace-wise. Peloton already shrinking. Only 1 rider left off the front, so just like that, they are reeled in, and Peloton is shrinking very, very quickly here. Vashek is the furthest down the order. His 88 is kind of just holding on, so I don't have to put in any work right now, as we're getting enough attack out of others. And I am just fine with that. Now, Vashek's hanging on. Cassart is just about done. So Cassart was protecting Mater. That's okay. He'll be the one alone. Vashek right a little bit harder here. Brian also, he is done, as is Cantor. So as we go over the top here, let's get over the top first, and then Mater is going to switch. There you go. And where is Vashek? Yeah, Vashek's still here. So Vashek's going to take up... Actually, so is Cantor, for that matter. And Brian. So Vashek, you're going to protect Mater, replacing Cassart. Cassart's been dropped. He's the only one been dropped. And there's a lot of riders off the back. So we're down to a peloton of 33 riders already. This is exactly what I wanted. And I expected to use up half my team to make that happen. And yet, here we are, only down a single rider. And the peloton itself, though, is down considerably. Now, the tricky part here, though, is looking at Machado's team here. Green and white are their jerseys. There's his teammate. There's another teammate, and there's a teammate. So he's got at least 3 riders left. There's 4 here. There's Marquis, and those are all the names that we... Ooh, no. That's not what I was looking for. So he's got 4 teammates left around him, and it is the 4 strongest climbers. And that's it. So he's down to 5. We're down to 6. And his guys are all riding solo. They are not riding tandem. They don't even look to be protecting him at the moment, though he does have a rider behind him. But he's not scrambling to get in front of him, is he? So they might be down to 5 guys, but they are, for the most part, riding solo. We are back up to 55 riders, though, so a group just reestablish contact. Cassart would be the next one. I'd say we need to attack here, but somebody's already taken up that prize. 3-4 guys, all pushing the tempo, so I'll let them have at it. Cassart actually back on into the group right now. It's actually kind of a sad statement that somebody that weak in climbing is somehow back into the group. Our pace is that slow.
This climb is feared by many riders.
Got all my guys up at the front. Brian, Cantor, fading quick. Cassart, there you go, he's fading. But this is going to shrink things back down.
The pack is quick in the pace.
And you know that plenty of these riders coming off the back are not going to recover. So Cassart now dropped. 64 riders left off the front. We'll keep an eye on him for just a little bit longer here as we see the next group dropped. There's 6 more. And these guys are, I think, far enough down the hill that all or most of them won't come back. Maybe Fernandez comes back. That, by the way, Fernandez, that's one of the teammates. And not their stronger climber, but definitely stronger than Cassart is. But here's Brian, Cantor, Vashek, all dropped. And now we've got a small peloton of 26. And you saw just how far up the road these guys are. So we are down to Mater, Koos, and Evenepoel. Mater, he's going to take over duties on protecting Evenepoel, our leader now. Koos will get the free ride. And now it's just 26 riders left. So we got a smaller group this time. I think those first 7, there's a decent chance they'll come back. And maybe I'm going to need to use... Maybe I need to switch to Koos protecting and use up Mater on the next climb.
A leader has fallen.
Ooh, 24 riders off the front. Does that mean Machado's already been dropped? Has Machado already been dropped? I don't see a yellow jersey. I see a white jersey and a blue jersey. I think Machado's been dropped from the group. His name's not present. And we're E1, E2, E3, E4. In which case we're going to need to... There, Peloton 12 riders. Tiago Machado right there. He's with Cantor and Brian. Those two, by the way, I need to put these guys on auto. But I definitely don't want that group. Oh! Oh! Look at that! He fell. He's already back up, but Machado fell. That graphics out is a little bit late coming. But he fell, and he is 2 minutes behind, which means we do need to put a herding in. And so let's switch this up. Koos, protect, and Mater. Not yet, but Mater's going to hit the front here in a little bit. And he's going to not necessarily attack the climb, but just make sure that the others don't come back at us. And we're starting to go uphill here. We'll push an 86th. That's fine. Home. Tiza. They're still riding on. Figueiredo. 61st, a minute 49. Okay, we're up to 29 riders. Peloton is behind us by a minute and a half. So let's see how far back those guys are. There they are. Cantor and Vashek. And Brian, just make sure you're not working. Do not want you bringing it back. Alright, so Mater's up front. I think Mater's going to have to go a little bit harder. Make sure we keep this gap behind.
The riders are going through a very tough portion with percentages above 10%.
Peloton shrinks to 13 riders in the chase, so they split in half. We have not split our group, though, but we're holding the gap behind us. We're starting to drop off riders one by one. There's Cantor on his own. Machado is trying really hard to get back in. This is going to blow him up. He is a minute behind, 45 seconds behind. So he has pulled back a little bit of time. Oh, he's made it back. Are you kidding me? He made it back to the group, but there you go. He falls off the back again, so he was right on the edge. Just 20 riders here. Mater did his job, and it's opening back up 37 seconds. Let's try to get a better view of that. 37, 38 seconds. That's holding. 40 seconds. They are definitely not on the verge of coming back. There they are. You can just... There. Those 5 riders. He's in there somewhere. So, Evenepoel looking good. Koos a little tired. And Mater is definitely getting close to the edge. 2 climbs left to go. That finishing climb is very short, but it's very steep. And this next climb is also pretty steep for a much longer period than the last one. The last one might have been black for a little bit, but it was black for, 500-600 meters, maybe 1K. This one's going to go continuously for longer. Mater, though, he's just about out. I want him to go ahead and relax, see if he can hang in there a little bit longer. Oh, damn it. Look who's back in the group. I bet you, though, he's got to be tired, right? There he is. I have no idea for certain, but he's got to be tired after that effort of getting back into the group. So this really is the time to isolate him. And if Mater's done, that means I've got to use Sepp Kuss without wasting Evenepoel. Let the group continue to shrink a little bit further. It's down to 17.
The riders are in a portion above 10%. He broke from the pack like a greyhound. Watch out, a team leader is falling.
He's 213 down. I don't need to chase him. But I really do need to... The pace has gone out of this group. So, go effort. And go follow. Use your gel.
15 kilometers remaining.
It's not that I need to chase that guy. It's just I need to put a herding in on Machado. He doesn't have high resistance, and it really had to take a lot of herding for him to get back into the group. He had help, he had some support here and there, but it was 2 riders, it was 3 riders, it was 5 riders, and they came from quite a ways back. Okay, Kuss out of energy. Machado trying to make an acceleration. There you go. Look at those shoulders sagging. How far away is that guy? He's already a minute ahead. Group's down to 12 riders. I'd love to take off with Evenepoel now. Let's do it.
Just 10 kilometers left.
By the way, sorry, Mater. Forgot to put you on auto. He's going to recover over the top, and that's why I'm attacking with Evenepoel here. Get over the top. There you go. Recover. And then that final climb is going to be all you. Now it's only 8 seconds. 4 seconds. They're going to get back in here.
5 kilometers remaining.
But again, that didn't hurt Evenepoel really at all. And you're going to get back to following Kuss. down to 4.8 kilometers, 4.4 kilometers. This is the end. It's a minute 44, so that little breakaway is... it's going to do some harm here, especially if we don't pursue. 2.4. Okay, Koos, you're gonna go here full speed, ish. 93. And this is red zone territory here. So Koos.
In such percentages that the strongest can create some gaps.
There you go. 97. Machado's trying to go for it here. Really surprised he's doing what he's doing. Oh my goodness, we are down to 400 meters already. The Vetapol. Go, 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 go. Solano, how does he have any energy left? Vetapol, come on! You're supposed to be sprinting here. You haven't even moved up a bike length. Machado goes second. No time gap other than to Solano, who was, what, a minute 10 clear? Oh, Venipol doesn't even get the time bonus for third. There's no way he didn't overtake Ravitch there. Cusco sixth. That was disappointing because we had Machado off the back but couldn't keep him off the back. He got back in there with very little help and somehow still had something left even though he's got no resistance. Very surprising that he was able to do what he did there. Mater's going to take 15th on the stage. This is certainly going to boost the standings for Koos, but it has no impact on Evenepoel, who's going to be a very distant second place there, and that the one guy, Solano, is going to pick up some time. He was 2 something down, and he's going to have picked up all but 1 minute of that. So I suppose he'll still be well down the order, and like I was saying before the stage, Machado is a good rider. It was going to be difficult to shake, and a second place is going to be good and worthy, and then we get into the stage, and I kind of felt like we could get more and should do more, and we could take the win. Well, Machado proved that he was up to the task. That was a great ride by him to recover and not only get in the group but somehow get second on the stage. Venipol could have and should have done so much more than I think we got out of him. He proved he had no acceleration there at the end. Sepp Kuss dug deep, gave him, a great positioning, and Machado somehow rode right on by.
Now for the best moments of the day.
Yeah, there's the win from the break. Of course, he attacked and nobody stepped up to cover that. We kind of covered that a little bit later, but we were focused on Machado. So he picks up a minute 7, but he was 2 something down. All right, so we are 23 seconds behind, but yes, we are comfortably in second. Sepp Kuss jumps up the standings to 11th, just missing the top 10 spot. Mater is 15th, but both of those guys, they'll get a little bit of points. I think points go down to 15th anyway for these category of races. And stage 4, it's a sprint stage, so there shouldn't be any shakeups at all in that. Machado's going to take the sprint jersey. Solano's going to take the mountain jersey. But Evenepoel will have the under 25s. We do get the team classification with those 3 riders all up front. But Machado's going to take the overall, unfortunately for us. But hey, second place, not bad. Not bad. 30 kilometers left to go in this one. There's a sprint point coming up here in about 5K. This is the remnants of the break. They are starting to attack each other. Wolf going off the front, just 4 guys. 92 riders left in the peloton, 9 off the back. Those are off the back because of a recent crash. They might not come back at this point. Pace is pretty hot in the peloton, chasing down the break. One of the riders, no, they just moved up with Wolf alone. Meanwhile, back in the peloton, we're looking good. Everybody's fresh. We've already got water. We're staying it. But you can see from the weather that it is just terrible conditions today. That actually looked like that would be the finish line, and we're going to loop around, come back to it to finish there. Anyway, terrible conditions today, leading to really, really low race day conditions throughout the field. The ones, of course, we care about, really only 3 of them. Evenepoel, our leader, who's in 2nd place overall, he does have a -2 today. The only thing affected is the resistance a little bit lower, stamina a little bit lower, the stage not that long. Resistance, with a 70, he'll be just fine, so Evenepoel's not going to get dropped. We could look possibly at trying to attack Machado here at the end, last 19K. And of course the way to do that is in trying to set up our sprinters. Well, speaking of sprinters, Cantor, he's got a -1, but it's not going to affect everything. You can see he's basically 0. Brian is the other one. He's a -2, and his sprint actually a +1 with his fitness at 99%. So he's okay. -2 stamina resistance, that's going to hurt him a little bit. So he could struggle in the final moments, but as we have 15.5K left, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back to my team here. We're going to set up our sprint train. 14.8, I think now is a good time to do that. And I don't know who's going to go first yet, so I suppose it's going to have to wait a moment and figure it out. Well, Evenepoel, the protected rider, will go behind Cantor. He'll follow Brian. And let's see, I think Mater, Mater was that next tier. Plus I don't want Mater or Koos going too early or too deep, as I want to protect their 11th and 15th place overall, though Kassart and Vashek are not a threat. Vashek a little bit better resistance, but what about flat speed? It's basically the same, so Vashek, Kassart's on a -3. Anyway, we'll use his gel right away. He's not going to attack just yet. Wait that 1K and then slowly bring him up. And then I want to push the tempo really hard towards the end and see if we can't. There's Machado. He's got 3 riders protecting him. Chances are we're not going to be able to drop him, and it's not going to matter anyway. With just 11K left, they would give him the same time, knowing how this game works. Okay, so Kassart, put in some effort.
The riders are entering the last 10 kilometers of the stage.
Well, those 4 riders down to 30 seconds. Kassart getting used up very quickly. Yeah, that was a little too hard coming out the box. Well, it's down to just 9K, so Vashek will go in at 97. Mater ready as well. Koos, I don't want to go all the way. There we go. Now he's digging deep. Lasting that little bit longer.
That's the end of the breakaway. The pack gave them no chance.
Okay, Koos has kicked in. That's good. He's going to go 99. It's just 6.7K to the end. I've got 4 riders. 4 riders to go 6.7 each. Brian ready. And we'll be pretty quick to the end, so we're going to go at 5K, not 3. I used to always do 5, and that's... Alright, Koos, I want to save just a little bit for you. And you're going to try to join the line behind your team leader. Vashek, not worried about you. Kassart, already auto. Okay. Alright, 4K, 3 guys. Here we go. Mater into the driver's seat. 3K, 3 guys. And wow, look at that. He's going 99, yet they're still coming up and overtaking us. That's crazy, right? Alright, now it's under 2K. So Mater, you're going to use what you have left in a sprint. And then we're going to get Brian going. There's... Okay, he's done. 1.4K. Brian, your turn to sprint. Inside the final K, we'll go another 100 meters here. And then sprint. Come on, Cantor. Come on, Cantor. Come on, Cantor. No, 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 no. He's not going to get it. Really?
Victory right on the line.
Creeder beats him again. Cantor, only fourth. Boy, what is your deal, Cantor? Where's your speed? I mean, it's not like he had a bunch left in the tank. He's got a little bit. A little
We're
bit.
waiting for the tail enders who continue
But Brian's
to
used
run.
up. He takes fifth. Cantor literally only gets as far as the one bike length to overtake his own teammate, who was out of energy before the finish. Cantor used up 80% of his energy, meaning it's not like we went way late or anything, and we could have gone about 50 meters sooner to push it to the absolute edge. But what difference would that have made? He wasn't coming with ahead of steam, ahead of everybody else. I think kind of the downside there was Mater, right? Mater was in the driving seat. He's your second lead-out man. He was going 99, and they were overtaking him. So Mater just doesn't have enough top speed. What I really lack is, while I have two decent sprinters, I lack that third lead-out man to get us into that right position. And those two sprinters, as it is, they're not that strong. So they should be the two lead-out guys, putting in a good turn of pace with one better sprinter. I just didn't set this team up necessarily as a sprint team. My 2018 career mode, that one was initially built as a sprint team, and it's still a sprint team that's just evolved and grown to be capable of doing other things and competing for more than just sprints. But I think maybe I've gotten a little bit selfish in expecting my sprint team to do what that other sprint team was capable of. But when you have 4, 5, 6 sprinters, it's easy to muster a team capable of staying on the front. And, actually, for that matter, I'm playing on that harder difficulty where the other teams are just capable of more. They attacked and made it work, and meanwhile, my guys just not quite the turn of pace. The AI is a lot more aggressive, and it's hard to get those wins. So on this 4-stage race, we managed 1 second place and 3 fourth place finishes, which isn't bad. We get in the top 5 for everything, and we get second overall. Honestly, that's a good race. But the win was, it eluded us, and we didn't get the win. That's a little frustrating. Now, the sprint, the only competition that changed a little bit, Creeder ends up winning that with the final win there. Cantor himself only manages to move up to 8th place, and Brian 9th place. But the overall, completely unchanged. Creeder and the other top finishers, nowhere near the top end of the standings. Mater actually moves up to 13th, so there was a drop-off of a couple riders that were in between Koos and Mater, so they lost some time. So there was a split here, only at the back end. So 2 of these riders were in the top end of the standings from that small group here. Let's see what the payout was for a second place. 4,000. Not a big prize, but it's something. It's something. We'll take it. Next up is going to be the Tour de Normandie. It's a 7-stager. It's going to open up with a prologue. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's just 4 days away until we hit that, so it's coming pretty close. Is it a sponsor objective? Or when is our next sponsor objective? 10 days from now, which will mean it'll be in the middle of the Tour de Normandie. Just a sprint for that one, and we're looking for top 5, so tell where those sprinters who just raced are going to be, because those are my top sprinters, even though they are not top sprinters. in themselves. Venable does get credit for the top 3, so that'll be good for our results here. But as a team, I mean, we're pretty steady on the, the almost pro-continental level. Not quite. And so next season, absolutely, it'll be no problem. Some of these guys, Venable, Koos, should be leveling up for too long. There's pretty high potential in quite a few of these riders. Some of them, though, are on the low end of potential, and they'll probably be released when their contract runs out. At the moment, there's only 4 riders signed up for next season, so we are going to have some work to do to make that happen, but we'll have plenty of balance in order to sign who we want to sign, keep who we want to keep, and then go out and get some additional and better riders to push us into the pro-continental level, and then hopefully we can keep pushing towards World Tour status within a couple seasons. Of course, it's still very early, March, to be necessarily talking about next season yet, so I'll leave that discussion, any further discussion, for a future date. Bauke Mollema currently leading the World Tour standings by 2 points over Chris Froome. Ineos leading the World Tour standings by a large margin. We lead the Continental standings by a much smaller margin, but we lead the Continental standings. That includes all the pro-continental teams. That's not just Continental. And we are 19th overall, and that is a pretty dang good number for this early in the season. And as, Continental team, I mean, in terms of Super Prestige, which is the bigger telling ranking, not necessarily the Continental rankings alone, we're second best of all the Continental and pro-Continental teams. Words elude me. That's my word of the day, apparently. So, we're ahead of our KSAMSIC, Direct Energy, Vital Concept. You start looking at the actual teams. Wanty Group Gobert has less than half the points that we have, and that is a massive Continental Pro team. So, things are good. Things are good on that front. And we've actually managed 12 victories already. We didn't pull out any in that last race, but it was still a good result. Definitely still a good result. But that is going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.